Winter is a time where we tend to overeat starchy, refined carbohydrates and miss out on our veggies. We all know, love it. It's called comfort food. But here to show us how to replace some ingredients with fruits and veggies is registered dietitian Dr. Laura Christoph. Now, we just saw that nutrition labels could be changing a little bit, and obviously you're a nutritionist, Dr. Christoph, and there are some things that you definitely agree with.
Right, definitely. So one of the suggested changes is to include added sugars on the label. And that's something I wanted to mention today. We'll be working with pasta sauce today, and there are hidden sugars in 90% of pasta sauces that we find at the grocery store. You need to look really closely on the ingredients list to make sure you don't see any sugar, anything that says syrup, or anything that ends in OSE. And that's how we have to be a nutrition detective now and find that added sugar.
And I'm going to be honest, I never look at nutrition labels, and I mean, you're a nutritionist, so obviously you do. But I think that maybe we should look at it more and know what to look for, and hopefully those changes will make it a little bit easier for us. Now, we're talking today, it is wedding week, and a lot of people want to kind of change their lifestyle before they get married, maybe not to lose weight, but even just to feel good. And a lot of times people do want to cut down on carbs.
Right, so it's really easy in the winter when you're eating those comfort foods to over-consume the starches,
yes,
right?
I'm guilty of it,
and
for
there's not too much nutrients per calorie in those starches, so they can leave you feeling a little bit sluggish. So adding in veggies is always a way to feel more vibrant, and if you want to look your best on your wedding day, for sure, so that's a great way to do it.
And you're going on your honeymoon, so you always want to, feel
It's
good
true.
for that, and make sure that when you do indulge, you don't feel guilty.
Yes.
So spaghetti squash pasta, and I say pasta like this because it's not really pasta.
No, so the spaghetti squash is in place of pasta. So spaghetti squash is this awesome vegetable that when you cook it, it actually becomes stringy like spaghetti, and you can use it in place of spaghetti. And with the right, ingredients in your sauces and your maybe cheese and maybe some ground meat that you put on top of it, it tastes very similar to a traditional pasta.
So the way that you cook it, like you said, you roast the spaghetti squash, and I was introduced to this recently, and I love it. So basically you take the spaghetti squash the way that you buy it in the store.
Exactly.
That's what it looks like.
Yep, and then you just cut it in half.
It can be a little
It can be a little tricky.
And make sure you have a nice sharp knife,
Yeah,
too.
have a good knife here.
We had a knife sharpening segment earlier this week. You can
did
check
you?
that out on mymassappeal.com.
Yeah, I'm not sure this one was sharpened.
No, you're very strong. It's definitely the knife, but you're doing a great job. So that's what you do first, is you cut it in half. You don't roast it whole. So once
once it's cut in half.
We always have fun in the kitchen,
We do.
don't we?
So once you cut it in half, you scoop out the seeds. So you scoop out the seeds from the inside
Just
in
like
here.
a pumpkin.
Just like a pumpkin. And then you place both halves face down. Cook them at 350 with a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. I always add a little salt and pepper for flavor as well on the bottom.
Do you put them you just put them on a cookie sheet?
Yeah,
or?
put them on a cookie sheet and cook them at 350 for 45 to 55 minutes. I usually go a little bit longer because I like mine a little bit more mushy. If you like the al dente pasta, you might want to go for 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
Then when it comes out, it looks a little bit more like this. Because of TV magic, we didn't take 45 minutes, right? And then you just take a fork and it becomes spaghetti-like as you place it into a bowl.
It's so easy to do. It just comes right out.
Super easy, and there's only 30 calories or so per cup in spaghetti squash, whereas if you have a whole cup of pasta, there's over 200 calories. So,
wow.
And there's a lot more fiber in here too. So you can, top it with some sauce, top it with some cheese, and then you have, probably a quarter of the calories as your traditional pasta dish, and lots more nutrition packed per calorie.
And it tastes so good. It is so yummy. And like you said before, make sure you check the nutrition label on the sauce you get to make sure there aren't any added sugars. So you're really eating the healthiest you possibly can.
Exactly.
All right, now that's just one of 3 recipes that we've got with Dr. Christoph, so we'll have 2 more coming up. Thanks. Cauliflower rice. It's easy to make. It's actually full of antioxidants and fiber. Dr. Laura Christoph is back with us to show us how it's done. So earlier we did the spaghetti squash to kind of replace the pasta that we love, and now this is cauliflower to replace rice.
Right. So anytime you can take out refined grains and replace them with something more nutrient dense, it's a really helpful strategy to get more nutrients per calorie, which most of us, if we're watching our food intake, need, right?
Yes.
So something with cauliflower is cauliflower per head only has, a little over 100 calories, whereas a half cup of rice, you know, has around 100 calories. So you can have a lot bigger portion size too, which is always appealing to me.
Yes, me too. And especially when you are trying to watch your calorie intake, like you said, you do still want to be able to feel full.
Right,
So you can eat a lot of it and not feel bad.
Yeah, and you can make this great stir fry with, you know, an extra couple servings of vegetables. So it's fantastic.
It's wonderful. So what's the first step to make this?
So the first step to make this is, you know, just chopping the cauliflower either in half or in smaller pieces. You boil it or steam it, either way. You know, steaming, you lose a few less water-soluble vitamins, so steaming's always a good strategy. Or if I boil it, I like to boil it in a little bit of chicken broth, and it gives it a lot of flavor without adding, you know, too much fat or too many calories in that way too.
Yeah, because it's good when you can have a little bit of extra flavor, but still not have to add those calories. So
Yeah.
that's a great tip. So now once you've done that, you obviously take it out of the water.
Yep, take it out of the water and just put it in a bowl. And I usually use a potato masher. I use the potato masher both for cauliflower rice, and if you want to keep mashing, you could always make cauliflower mashed potatoes too. So you can just kind of mash this to whatever consistency is, you know, appealing to you. So I usually like to make mine like a little bit thicker, so a little bit thicker with the cauliflower here. And so it has more of a rice-like consistency.
Right.
And then once you're done mashing, you know, all you do is stir fry some veggies, put it on top, and you end up with a nice little stir fry with whatever flavors you stir fried those veggies in.
That is so great. So you do want to use a hand masher. You don't want to put it in any kind of a food processor. That would make it like a mashed potato, like you said.
Right. If you have,
that would be good too. But.
Yeah, if you have a food processor setting that's very low, that can, you know, maybe grate vegetables or something, that might be okay. But then you'd want to cook the cauliflower a little bit less long as well, so because you do get mushy cauliflower pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And that won't be so good if you're trying to keep it, like you said, in bigger chunks.
Right, exactly.
So here, I'm just going to try this. I've never tried this before, and I want to, you know, of course, try to do it at home. Now, this over here has the vegetables on it, but it also has, is that turkey sausage or chicken sausage?
I put some chicken sausage on there. You know, if you wanted a little bit more of an Italian flavor dish, or a dish that had, you know, a little bit more substance, adding some meat to your stir fry is always a great way to go. You know, you can do a traditional Asian type stir fry with maybe chicken and sesame or peanut sauce or something like that. Or you could go, you know, a little bit more Italian flair, which is sort of our theme for today, with some peppers, some onions, and some turkey sausage or chicken sausage.
I love that idea. And this is so easy. Boil it, just mash it. This is a great thing for the kids to do, have some fun.
Oh, definitely.
Get a little bit of a workout, right? Thanks so much. So this is a great way to have the comfort foods without all of the calories. So we'll be back with one more comfort food recipe still to come. Thanks so much, Dr. Christoph. Zucchini lasagna. It's a healthy alternative to the traditional lasagna, still packed with flavor without all of those carbs. We're back with Dr. Laura Christoph. Now, we already did 2 comfort food recipes, but healthier versions.
Right.
Now, this is zucchini lasagna. Obviously, there's zucchini in it, and I'm guessing that replaces the noodles.
Exactly. So you've got it, Ashley. We're on the same theme. We're taking some sort of refined carbohydrate, and then we're switching it for a vegetable to make more nutrient density, fewer calories, and a bigger portion size.
Right, but enjoy those foods that you love still when you want that comfort.
Right,
when it's cold out.
exactly. And honestly, lasagna really isn't about the noodles. It's about all the other stuff that you put in it. And you really can exchange zucchini for any type of lasagna recipe. You just have to add about only half the amount of liquid that you would add, because zucchini, because it's so high in nutrient density and high in water, it lets off a lot of water. So you have to put a little bit less sauce, a little bit more cheese and vegetable in there.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah,
good stuff.
yeah.
So this is what you did with the zucchini. You basically sliced it.
Yeah, so I just used a potato peeler with the zucchini and sliced it in very, very thin little slices here. And then what you do is you just layer 2 layers of zucchini where you would layer lasagna. So
Okay, so are we going to do that over here? Okay, so this is just a baking dish.
Yep,
and
a
the eggs
baking
rolling
dish.
away from
There
us.
you go. A baking dish just with a 1/4 cup of sauce on the bottom, just to get started. So we layer the zucchini just on the bottom here, just a couple little rows there. And while I'm doing this, you can create the little cheese mixture over there.
Ooh,
So
yes.
it's 1 cup of ricotta.
Okay,
There's the ricotta.
or you could use cottage cheese
Yeah,
too.
you can also use low-fat cottage cheese. You know, the texture is a little bit different. I find ricotta tastes a little more indulgent, but the cottage cheese has more protein and a little bit less fat. So, so then this is going to be a half cup of a mixture between Parmesan and mozzarella cheese.
Oh, cheese! I love cheese.
And then,
okay.
and then as an option, you can put in some veggies and some chicken sausage or some ground meat. So that could go in, or you could leave it out, depending on your preference.
I love
there.
that. So this is onions, peppers, and mushrooms.
Exactly.
Well, hey, why not load up on veggies, right?
Exactly.
And a little bit of chicken sausage, give it a little protein.
Yep. And then you crack the egg over there and put that in there too.
Okay. Should I put more or less of the veggies and chicken sausage? Is that okay?
That's fine. It's
Okay.
really about preference. So,
Okay.
you know, sometimes you want to load it up and sometimes you want a little bit more of a, you know, typical traditional lasagna. So all we do here is we alternate a layer of the cheese mixture and then a little layer of sauce. So there's that sauce over there that you can
Okay.
add into.
Just put a little bit in.
Yeah, little
And
bit in,
Again,
spread it around.
like you mentioned earlier, try to look for a sauce that doesn't have any added sugar.
Exactly. And then, as I said before, you know, you want a little bit less of that liquid, so that amount of sauce was perfect. Then we just keep layering those zucchinis on, right? We keep layering the zucchini.
And then more cheese.
And then more cheese.
Wow, so this is such a great way to cut the carbs.
Exactly.
Everyone's always looking for ways. Not only does it have a lot of calories, but I feel like it does make you feel sluggish.
Oh, definitely.
Especially if I bring it as a leftover for my lunch. I always feel like I don't know how I'm going to get through the second half of my day after I
Right.
eat a big thing of pasta.
Right. Even my husband, who's a total comfort food addict, says this just makes me feel good. You know, there's just
Yeah.
something about this meal. And you know, if somebody who really loves traditional food is gonna eat this, anyone's gonna eat this for sure.
So if Laura's husband will eat it, then
Then anyone will eat it.
will.
Yeah.
And the other good thing too is a lot of people like to enjoy bread, you know, like a nice warm Italian bread with their pasta. But you feel bad when you're having pasta and bread. It's just you're just loading up on carbs. Maybe you won't feel so guilty if you want to have that.
Exactly.
And what would you say is a good bread option to go with this that still isn't too high in carbs?
Okay, so with bread, you know, bread really is carbohydrates. It's the
Yeah, of
type
course.
of carbohydrates that you want to aim for. So you want to aim for more fiber, and you know, in comparison to starch. So always looking for 2 to 3 grams of fiber per 100 calories is a good way to do it. And with
Okay.
these new food labels, you know, they might start labeling the amount of whole grain that's in there, and that could be something we look for in the future too.
Oh, that's great. Then we
Yeah.
can all don't have to be nutritionists to read that,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So once you've done that, more zucchini, more cheese, more sauce, then you top it with the mozzarella.
yeah, top it with a little bit of extra mozzarella.
For the sake of time.
Yep, go for it.
We'll do this here. And then what is the oven set at? How
The
long?
oven's set at 350 for about 40 minutes, and usually I'll cover it for the first 30 minutes and then uncover it for the last 10, so you get that nice little hardened cheese on the top and
yes.
the bubbles at the top. And then you need to let it cool and sit for a little bit longer than traditional lasagna because of the moisture. But you know, let it sit 15 minutes or so and then cut in and enjoy.
And over here, right out of the oven, we have a finished zucchini lasagna. And right there is it sliced. You can see just how delicious it looks, and it looks so appetizing. That's
Yeah.
one thing. You want your food to look like it's going to taste good, and it sure does.
Right.
So these are 3 great options. So you've got the spaghetti squash pasta, cauliflower rice, and zucchini lasagna.
Yep.
And the whole goal?
The whole goal is to increase the portion size, increase the nutrient density, and decrease the refined carbohydrates.
Oh, I love these recipes. I cannot wait to make them, try them, and share them with my family. Thanks so much, Dr. Christoph. And you can get all of these recipes on our website, mymassappeal.com, later on today.